afternoon, good evening, thank you back to you all. Doing okay? Alright, well, I mean, you guys have heard me cry about the insects. I kind of had to shrink away during the cancer presentation because I may have to come around. You guys would probably want to study me. I'm pretty high up on all those, on the list of bad habits that you discussed. So, yeah, I'm a little bit freaked out, man. But we'll be okay. So, we're going to talk about work at height today, part of my kind of generic PowerPoint presentation. I put it together. My name is James Gould, for those of you who would like to know. Those of you who live in the West End, I have no relation to Gould's Pumps, but we just share a name. I am Environmental Health and Safety Advisor for ACON. But before I get into all of that background, I'm going to let you guys know what we're going to talk about today. Just so that you guys can track it and go, okay. So I will do an introduction of myself so you guys can better understand who this big goofy man is talking to you guys. We're going to take a little quick look at Bermuda's law. Surprisingly enough, we do have actually quite good legislation that we're supposed to follow, but unfortunately we don't. Where do we stand in terms of what our law states? What are the costs of work at height? Some statistics based on Ontario and the UK, and what they actually mean, and we'll get into that in a little bit. What can we do moving forward, and a little bit of a wrap up. And I do need you guys to bear with me a little bit because I am particularly fidgety and I cannot stand still. I have done presentation training and they say you have to stand still, James. I can't. It's a problem I've had from a child. You guys recognize my mate there? That is a pretty famous picture. Looks familiar, right? It's the standard setup in Bermuda, isn't it? But it is wrong! We're going to talk about veggie bird. He can fall. Yes, he can. So, we could talk about it for hours, or at least I could. I find these things kind of particularly interesting. And I could talk about nothing for hours. It's a talent I learned from working with the Jamaicans for years. If you think I'm joking, these guys argued for 8 hours about whether or not the color purple was in fact the color purple. I'm not joking. It was a very interesting day. Anyway, my name is James Gould. I do have a Bachelor's of Science in Construction Management and Building Surveying. So as I may come off a little bit dopey, but you guys can rest easy knowing that I do actually know what I'm talking about. It is just my personality, something that I've also been told I have to work on. I don't. I was a roofer by trade. That is what I do. And when I went out to Canada to train, they asked me, "Who did your work at height training?" And I said, "What's that?" Needless to say, the Canadians all had a heart attack and fell down. So I did that from 2015 to 2017. I do have a longer history in construction. I started when I was 14 years old painting for Johnny Lima. Those of you who know him, he is a hard little man. And I am now currently employed by ACON, the Canadians building the airport, as a environmental health and safety advisor. With the courteous help of Mike Parsons here. He is our co-chair of the Joint Health and Safety Committee, and he offers me a lot of peace when my brain kind of goes. I am a certified trainer of workplace hazardous materials identification system, which is, any of you guys familiar with English legislation? COSH, Control of Substances Hazardous to Health, is the Canadian or North American equivalent of such. I do train confined space entry for ACON, as well as respirator fit testing to make sure that when you are wearing a respirator, stuff doesn't go through. And I do train work at height as well for a company called the Fall Protection Group. I train. That's all I do all the time. My boss seems to like the fact that I can talk to a brick wall, like I said. Anyway, so Bermuda's law does state that it's actually written in there. Every employer shall provide a fall protection system for employees at a place of employment where a fall of 2 meters, so 6'6", or more may occur, or where there is an unusual risk below. I.e., if you are standing on this table and we have a whole bunch of exposed rod there, and if you fall on that, it's going to go through you, and you will result, and you will end up in the hospital. Or Belco's generators in the car box. Any of you who have toured Belco will know what I'm talking about. I'm 6'2". Somebody standing here, how often are they actually protected by guardrails, harnesses, lanyards, anything as such? Never. I know, because I'm a roofer. So, how many of us will actually follow the regulations? We do, down at the airport, because I force them into it. I kind of have to twist their arms and fuss and fight and argue and kick and scream, and finally they go, all right, fine. But why do you guys think that we don't? What do you guys think are the driving factors behind not following work and height regulations? Money, the almighty dollar. Construction industry is money-based, is time-based. Ooh, oh no!
Change.
No! How do we charge this thing? Or does that just mean that I have to speak faster? I can do that too. I can do that, that's fine. Yeah, money kind of drives everything. Change. We are creatures of habit. You guys lived in this island for quite some time? Yeah. Bermudians are bullheaded and stubborn. We don't like change. We like to do what we are familiar with, what is easy. The age-old excuse that I hear every day down at the airport is, I've done this the same way for 30 years. Yeah, and you've done it wrong for 30 years. No problem. So, change, cost, time, laziness. I'm not doing it because so yeah. I don't know what your guys' respective professions are, but those of you who have had the pleasure of working with Ed Lawrence and Bermuda Scaffolding know that the bill that comes afterwards will make you sit down. So we do always look at, first we have to encourage and train, get people up to speed. And we have to look at how we're going to mitigate a fall, how we're going to actually protect people from this thing. And of course, the easiest way is to eliminate a hazard altogether. On Bermuda roofs, that's kind of impossible. So the easiest or less intrusive or invasive will be scaffolding, but like I said, if you get a bill from Ed, you will rethink, reassess your situation. So then we can look at anchor points, and I'm sorry guys, but I am trying to get it all into one, and I will have questions and answers in a minute. But anchor points, I'm going to talk about them in a second. Essentially, if you bolt something into a wall and I can pull on it, I'm not going to fall. So, all right, so I'm working here. I can put a scaffold up, I can put guardrails up, I'm not going to fall off and it'll be okay. That is not always practical, not always feasible in terms of the old $90. So we put anchors in, we protect ourselves with harnesses and landings. You guys know what I'm talking about, the things that kind of keep you all bunched up. You would drive an anchor home somewhere, either into the wood, concrete, whatever it may be. You're on a road, all that fun stuff, you're good to go. Strength ratings has to be able to withstand 5,000 pounds of force on that anchor. It's a lot of force, isn't it? 5,000 pounds. I'm kind of on my way to 5,000 pounds, but I'm not quite there. So when we're looking at a 5,000 pound strength rating, if we're going to put an anchor to a timber frame roof, what's to say that the lumber is strong enough? We fall. We're going to impose at the very maximum 1,800 pounds of force. Now, if we got rotten the lumber, it's just going to yuck it right out the wall, out of the roof rim. Now, the other option is you can drive an anchor into the wall, nice concrete block wall. But what's to say that you didn't have 14-year-old James Gould next to me more to that date, and it's a nice sandy patch. Yeah. And so you fall, and maybe the fall doesn't kill you, but that block that has just been pulled out of the wall and is now traveling at kind of terminal velocity towards your head, yeah, that's going to do it. No problem. So we have to look into these things. We have to understand how they work and what they do. Yeah, it's expensive. Of course, we're talking about the almighty plan. I feel like I'm jumping around. Am I jumping around? Are you guys with me so far? Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Like just a little bit?
Yeah.
A little bit.
All right. So the cost, essentially dollar, being the effects of it. So if we look at it, to train somebody on average, $250 per person. Now it seems like a lot. There are people that offer the training on this island for closer to $400 a head. So 250 is actually relatively conservative. Training does last 3 years, sometimes more. And then you have to get retrained because we are forgetful and we are complacent. A harness, a good comfortable harness is $200. You can get ones for as low as like $70. But it's like wearing an uncomfortable pair of shoes. You're just going to take it off, right? Doesn't do you any good. Guys are going to want to wear it. And if you fall in an uncomfortable harness, it's really going to suck. Lanyards, twin leg lanyard. It's got two little things on it. That way I can clip myself on here, and if I have to go way over there, I can actually clip myself on here and then untie from this one. That way I'm always in contact. They call it 100% contact. So a good lanyard with the two legs on it, $75. A lifeline, so remember I said you can have that anchor on the top of the roof and you're on line down. That is what we call a lifeline. They do have to be certified. You can't just go down to Marine Locker and get spring line or kind of dock line or anything like that, because that's just not going to do it. A good temporary anchor, $100. Total, $665. Average company in Bermuda is probably about 20, medium-sized company, right? We're looking at now $13,300, roundabout. So call it $15,000 to get these people trained, get them kitted out, get it all sorted out. That's a whole lot of money. But people fail to realize that a workplace accident does cost a whole lot of money. Right? Somebody gets hurt, gotta go to the hospital, gotta pay it. There's the, what you see on the surface. What you don't see is the administrative cost. What I would pay Mike to go and source out somebody else, and what I would pay somebody to figure out, the bills and the accounting and all that kind of fun stuff. And it does get much, much more. A workplace fatality, according to one piece of research, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention states that it's an average of around $991,000 for a workplace fatality, whereas the North American National Safety Council puts it at an average of $1.42 million. How many funny people? I'm not an engineer by any means, but I can tell you that this number is a whole lot smaller than that number, right? Would you rather pay $15,000 or $1 million?
I prefer a million. I don't have it.
Neither do I. So when I get the arguments of it costs too much or whatever it may be, the cost of somebody's life, there isn't actually a value that you can put on the life. However, if you want to sit here and complain and moan and just carry on about how much it costs to get the guys trained and the kit that you have to buy and maintain and all this, $1 million is going to cost if you don't train, if you don't monitor, if you don't analyze the whole situation. With me so far? Am I making sense? Okay. So you go ahead and you get everybody trained. They're trained. I can sit back, cool out, drive around, talk to my mates. Good KFC, making line, everything's cool. I've done my job. My crew is safe. It's very wrong. It's about monitoring it as well. All the time. We have to monitor these things for sake of visual representation, because I know it's kind of hard to picture these things. Before I move on, because I'm talking to you guys about all this stuff, as though you've been through a training class that I have provided you. This one, right here, that is a temporary roof anchor. There will be, I believe, 32 holes in there that you drive nails into. Fits right over the edge of the roof. Driving nails into there, they say a minimum of 16, but why would you want to trust your life to a minimum? So I'm driving all 32 in on either side. So 64 screws dope. Onto the ridge, and you tie off to that little round thing there, and that will give you 5,000 pounds. If the substructure is strong enough, right? Concrete anchor, that thing right there. Are you guys familiar with tugger bolts? What the Bermuda call tugger bolts, at least? Those of you who aren't spearfishing, maybe. You know, as the spear comes out and actually can't come back through, it's like a barb. You drive that into the concrete and it flays out and it bites into the concrete and cannot move. So if you are going to install that, make sure it's definitely in the right place, because you're not getting it back out. Permanent roof anchor. That wraps around the beams, the trusses, brothers, whatever you want to deal with. And it stays there, it lives there forever and ever, amen. Beam clamp, this I-beam, it's got two little things, it just comes up, it stops right about there. Sits on it and it can move. It's movable. We use that quite a bit down at the airport, or we did before they started spraying fireproofing. That yellow nylon rope, what looks like yellow nylon rope, that is actually a certified fall protection lifeline. And then we've got it kind of all hooked up on my mate here in this diagram. That would be a harness, and it's going to be good properly. We're going to fit in a second. Our mate, pardon me. We have the rope there, lifeline, that thing. Yeah. He has himself a lanyard, that thing that attaches from the rope grab to his harness. Yeah. That is a single leg. You kind of want it if you're going to be supplying for your group. Double legs would be all right. Has an energy absorber that slows down fall. They used to call them shock absorbers, and then people were actually hooking them up to electrical panels thinking that they were safe. No. So they've had to change it to energy absorbers. And then he's got himself a nice harness, and that is the way that they are supposed to be fit. That ring on the back of this guy here, I can't get on the table because I'd be violating all sorts of safety different things. See right there in the middle of the shoulder blades? Yeah. That's where you hook them off to. That way if you fall, you're kind of just hanging like this and you'll be okay. Actually, you won't. You will go to the hospital because it hurts. Yeah, I'm kind of getting punched up. You want the straps down below his leg. You want that there so that if you do fall, you can kind of sit down. It's a little bit more comfortable that way. Go on the left, go right across here. I do not know what the professional term is. Breastplate? Maybe? Sure. Presumably. And leg straps. So you always want somebody to check them for you to make sure it's actually fit properly. That ring is supposed to be directly in the center of your shoulder blades along your spine. That way it will distribute